Hey everyone, I'm Darwin's Eyeball. I just wanted to make a quick video tonight. Uh, we've got a lot of new information about Beyond over the last few days. So I just want to kind of go over some of that information, give my feelings about that information, give my expectations, and maybe do a little bit of speculation because I like doing that. Yeah, so 4 more days, everybody. That was 8. This is 8. 4 more days, everybody, and it's gonna be here. So this is a good time. So yeah, jumping right in, let's start with VR. We haven't learned that much about VR over the last few days. That's because they told us a lot about the VR early on. They gave us the trailers of the VR early on. Nonetheless, there's a little bit of information we got, and that is just coming from the media, people that got to play the game, got their hands on the game, and got to give their feelings about it. So Upload VR, some people from there went and got to play the game. PlayStation Access, they went and got to play the game, and from all the reviews I've seen, people are loving it. People think it's a great port. They're loving the control schemes. They're not complaining about the graphics. Because there's always a worry with the graphics could be overly blurry, but everyone seems to think it's a great port. I've seen people like glowing over it, saying like already this is their best VR experience, and this is of course very very good to hear because these are people that know VR. These aren't like some random Joes who've never tried VR before. Like these are people who know VR. So if they're saying it's good, that makes me feel good because honestly, I know this is probably an unpopular opinion within the No Man's Sky community, but like VR is the part I'm most excited about. I'm a huge VR head, so yeah, that's what I'm most looking forward to. And all the reviews so far say only good things. So I think this means only good things. So if you bought a headset for No Man's Sky, it doesn't look like it's going to be a disappointment. So good news. 4 more days, and I'm going to play a lot of VR. Secondly, multiplayer. We learned a lot of things about multiplayer and how the system is going to work. It's going to be oriented around the Nexus. So you port in the Nexus, you can go inside the Nexus, and if you're on console, they think, I've heard a couple of varying rumors about this, but it's going to be 16 people can be in the Nexus at one time. Or if you're on PC, 32. So lots of players. It's a pretty big expansion of multiplayer, at least on console. I mean, we could have 16 in a system before technically, but everyone's going to be able to see each other, interact with each other. There's going to be a bunch of things you can do in the Nexus. You can see missions together. You can sign up for missions. So if someone starts a mission, you can just go sign up for a mission with them, join their group. They can see your bases if you want them to. They're going to have other people's bases posted there. New vendors, and it looks beautiful. I'm not making much sense right now, but I don't care. I'm just so excited. And what I really wanted to say about this multiplayer, I think like there's been a lot of like more comprehensive breakdowns than my mumbling, but I think the multiplayer system they chose is perfect. The only thing like I would have liked bigger hubs. I play console. I'm going to be playing PSVR. I would have liked maybe even the 32 would have been great. That's probably a technical limitation, so I'm not that beat up about it. But like other than that, it's I think the perfect system. People were really really worried that you know the people that don't want multiplayer were worried. This is gonna ruin my game. I'm gonna get grieved. I'm gonna like have all these people around me all the time. It's gonna break the experience for me. It's gonna break the game. I saw a lot of people worrying about that. That is not a concern. If you don't want to bring the Nexus towards you, it's not coming to you. So you can go off. In fact, this is in some ways better because you can leave the galaxy. Just leave the galaxy. Go into a galaxy which is like far, far, far less populated, and you can be completely on your own. No one will ever grieve you. Like the probability of them finding you is just as small as it was before. Maybe even smaller because these people are going to be busy playing with each other, so they're not going to be exploring so much. So actually, the implementation of this multiplayer might make it less likely to find you. And if you're in another system, the way they've set this up, if you're in another system, you can always get back to the starting galaxy. So you don't have, like before, if you left the Euclid galaxy, like you were gone. Like, sorry, Euclid days are done. You're out. But now, the way this multiplayer system sounds, I don't see any reason why you couldn't enter, like travel to another galaxy, enter the Nexus, and then exit the Nexus in Euclid and be back in Euclid. So you can go as far out in space as you want, be as far away from civilization as you want. So in some ways, this enhances the solo experience. And the multiplayer sounds awesome. I wasn't like crazy about the multiplayer, to be honest. I played solo mostly. I got into the game to play solo. But as this like the hype started building, I got more and more excited to play multiplayer. So I did, like I'm more on the fence than most people. But I think the system's great. And in particular, I like that you can just join missions that easily inside the hub. The missions, they sound like there are current missions. They don't sound like there's that many new innovations in missions. We're taking pictures, we're doing that stuff. It's maybe not the best possible multiplayer interaction you could get out of any game. But at the same time, if people play this and they see that people are playing multiplayer and people are really digging the missions, I'm sure they'll expand the missions. Maybe one day we could get like true questing, or like I've heard talk about procedural dungeons. You know, this is like a small step in a very promising direction. So I really think this is great for people who want multiplayer, and it's great for people who want solo. And one more thing I want to say about the solo players. It's like, why do people like playing solo? Maybe they like the exploration, but maybe they like the immersion. They like that feeling, that sensation of, you know, of being their character, right? They like to like have that story. If you really, really tried with this kind of multiplayer system, because it's like organized in the hubs the way it is, you could find people, like if you want to like role play, I'm sure you can find role playing groups. Like there'll be like groups that are just dedicated to role playing. There's going to be people like constructing bases for role playing. There'll be like a role playing community. There'll be like, so you, even if you're not that into multiplayer because you don't want the grieving or PvP or any of those things, I'm sure you can find people that like to do the exact same thing as you. So maybe that's a possible option for people who think they want solo because they don't want to deal with that other stuff. I'm sure you can find people that are into the same things as you. So that's good. And again, you can leave as far as you want, if not. So I think this is a win-win. I'm really, really happy about the way they're implementing multiplayer. I think it's great. And then finally, let's talk about the big news, and that's Component 3. What we've been speculating about like nonstop, with Sean Murray laughing at us for speculating nonstop. I'm going to be honest. I made a video a while back where I ranked all of the popular suggestions for what Component 3 could be. I ranked them like Space Update, PvP, Galactic War, all of these possible. I think I had 7 or 8. The bottom 2 were the Everything Update, where we see a bunch of updates about just across the board, and increased depth of base building and NPCs. Right? So my least favorite 2 preferential choices ended up being what we got. That said, the more I learn about it, the more I'm perfectly okay with it. In fact, the more I'm excited about it. The only thing I'll say, my only critique, and I hate critiquing No Man's Sky because I mean Hello Games, because they've given this update for free. I'm totally on board with the train that says let's not critique Hello Games at this point. The only thing I'd say is I wish there was more variation. I've seen there seems to be some update in variation. I watch Cobra TV. He's really stressing, no, guys, there is going to be updated variation. You can tell by the trees. You can tell by, a couple new plants. I agree. There'll probably be some increased, but it'll be like very incremental. I wanted like a huge expansion of variation. Doesn't look like we're going to get it, but I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with it. That's my only critique of Beyond, and hopefully we'll get it in a future update. Other than that, there's, I think, a lot of great news. A lot of great news. So, base building. It seems like he talked about like, oh, there's going to be upgrades to like every facet of the game. We want to like get everyone excited about this, right? That said, it seems like there's a particular emphasis on base building. They talked a lot about base building, even like the new power systems, the new building pieces. There's a lot of that stuff there. The implementation of logic, so we can now have logic built into our bases. Like this seems like there was a big emphasis. Even things like the milking and the domestication of fauna, these are really like centered around your base. So a lot of this update seems to be base building. And to be honest, I'm not a base builder, so I was not that excited about this until I heard about the way multiplayer is going to be implemented. And now I'm actually pretty excited. Why am I excited? Because we can go to other people's bases super quickly. And so that's the one reason I'm now super excited. The second reason is the implementation of logic. I am not creative enough to like use these two aspects to their full extent. I'm just not. I tried to play Minecraft. I actually played Minecraft for quite a while, and I never got up to the level of some of the creators out there. But there's a lot of people who can do it. And the cool thing about this is that now that we have the access to these other people's bases, people are going to start constructing bases for very specific things. Like right now, probably a lot of people have bases for like their living quarters, or, they're just like community bases to hang out, more practical bases. But people are going to start building crazy things. PvP arenas of every possible variety. You want to have a PvP battle? Go to the Nexus, find some, and there'll be different PvP battles. There'll be capture the flags. There'll be battle royales. There'll be everything you want to find. There'll be races. People are going to set up proper racetracks now, and we're going to be able to do full, whatever we don't know the player limit on planet. We know it's 16 in the Nexus. It might still be 4 on planet, but even 4. Just imagine 4-person races on the planet. You can have really cool racetracks set up that are going to be awesome, especially in VR. Mazes, like people could set up crazy mazes. People could reconstruct games, like they were talking about Rocket League. There's a bunch of cool things that people could do with bases. So now that we have logic and now we can visit other people's bases, I actually think this is fantastic. I think it's going to create a lot of new avenues for gameplay. Even again, for people who typically only like playing solo. You only like playing solo? I understand that. I sympathize with you, brother. But you could maybe find some bases that interest you. So just like go into the Nexus, pretend you don't see anyone, run over to the base finder, and find a base that interests you. They'll have like people will build things like ship graveyards, or they'll build them. Trust me, they will build them over time. We're going to see a lot of really interesting things, a real big expansion, just because people can now focus on specific projects and they have meaning because other people can come see them. They have meaning, so people are going to really take that to heart. We know this just experiences in other games, like what all the crazy things people have done in Minecraft. So I am super excited for that when I thought I wouldn't be. Then let's talk fauna domestication. That's cool. I'm pretty on board with that. I probably won't farm that much fauna. I don't like the farming that much. I could never really get into it. It was more monotonous to me. It might be kind of interesting, especially if it implies other things. Like if we're bringing fauna to our bases and we can train them, maybe we can eventually, like if they develop these systems more, reintroduce them into the wild. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but there's a lot, like, by having us starting to domesticate and train fauna opens up a lot of doors for future expansion, right? Now that these are like seedlings that they can expand in the future, Hello Games likes to do that. They like to start new things and then pick up on those and branch them out in new places. So if we can domesticate and capture fauna, that could mean a lot of cool things outside of zoos. I mean, you could just go so many places like with that. So a lot of fun stuff there, and riding the fauna is going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Especially, we don't know the limitations. Maybe there's going to be some size limitations on the fauna, but either way, I'm excited. And then there's some other speculatory things that we haven't quite shored up. Exosuits, that might be coming. Upgradable exosuits. Maybe you have to get them, like we do multi-tools, like search them down. That's a whole new aspect of gameplay. A new language. Why is there a new language? My suspicion is that there's a new race, an alien race, which I've mentioned in my last video. That's cool. I would like more alien races, but if we expand the number to 4, I'm really cool with that. There's some speculation. I saw this on Cobra TV, and it was really tentative speculation based on phrasing that maybe we're going to be able to control our frigates. Also a cool thing. Anyway, all this is to say, I went from not this being my least favorite ideas to now I think it's going to be great. The way they implemented this, in particular the way they implementing multiplayer, I think is fantastic. I think it should make everyone happy, or at least not make the solo players upset. So as long as it all goes off technically, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces here. So let's hope that the update works as planned. And let's hope, again, I don't want to be too negative, that way you maybe get some variation in the future. But other than that, I think that's all I wanted to say. If you want to tell me what you feel about the update, if you're happy, sad, bummed, depressed, I don't know, feel free to comment below. We'll have a discussion. If you like it, feel free to like it. If you want to see this guy talk about more No Man's Sky, subscribe, because I will talk about more No Man's Sky for the foreseeable future. Thanks for watching.